The forest of Kepler 442b stretched endlessly in every direction, its bioluminescent trees casting an eerie blue glow across the undergrowth. Leo had been alone on this planet for 3 years, ever since the colony ship malfunctioned and scattered its passengers across uncharted space. He'd stopped counting the days when loneliness became a constant companion rather than an occasional visitor. His cabin sat at the forest's edge, a modest structure built from salvaged materials and local timber. It wasn't much, but it was home. Tonight, however, something would shatter his solitary existence forever. The screams pierced through the evening air like shards of glass. Leo grabbed his plasma rifle, one of the few working pieces of technology he'd managed to save, and rushed toward the sound. Through the glowing vegetation, he spotted them. 3 hulking figures in atmospheric suits, their weapons trained on a small crystalline being cowering against a massive tree trunk. She was unlike anything Leo had ever seen. Her skin shimmered with an opalescent quality, refracting the forest's light into 1,000 tiny rainbows. Delicate antennae rose from her forehead, trembling with terror. She couldn't have been more than a child by any species standards. "Hey!" Leo shouted, his rifle raised. "Back off!" The hunters turned, their helmets reflecting his image back at him. One laughed. A harsh mechanical sound filtered through his suit's speakers. "A human here? This sector's restricted, monkey. Walk away while you still can." "Not happening," Leo said firmly. His hands didn't shake. 3 years of survival had burned the fear out of him. The lead hunter stepped forward. "That specimen is worth 40,000 credits. You really want to die for?" Leo fired. The plasma bolt struck the ground inches from the hunter's feet, sending up a shower of glowing soil. "Next one goes through your faceplate. Your choice." The standoff lasted only seconds, but it felt like hours. Finally, the hunters backed away, muttering threats and curses. They disappeared into the forest, their jetpacks igniting with blue flames as they retreated to their ship. Leo lowered his rifle and approached the alien girl slowly, hands raised. "It's okay. They're gone now." She stared at him with eyes like liquid mercury, wide and unblinking. Then, to his surprise, she spoke, not in words but in images that bloomed directly in his mind. Gratitude, relief, a name. Elsa. He smiled. "Leo," he said, pointing to himself. "Let's get you somewhere safe." The night passed quietly. Elsa remained in his cabin, curled up near the heating unit, her crystalline skin gradually shifting from terrified whites and grays to calmer blues and purples. Leo learned that her kind, the Lumini, communicated through psychic impressions, sharing emotions and concepts rather than crude verbal sounds. Through her projections, he understood. She had wandered too far from her tribe's territory. The hunters had tracked her for days. She was young, inexperienced, vulnerable. "You can stay until morning," Leo said gently, offering her water and some of the native fruit he'd learned was safe to eat. "Then I'll help you find your way home." Elsa's gratitude washed over him like warm sunlight. For the first time in 3 years, Leo didn't feel alone. He fell asleep in his chair, rifle across his lap, one eye metaphorically open. Dawn broke with a sound like thunder. Leo jolted awake as something massive landed outside his cabin with enough force to rattle the walls. Before he could reach his rifle, the door exploded inward, not broken but carefully removed and set aside, and a figure filled the entrance. She was enormous, nearly 8 feet tall. Her crystalline skin was a deep, battle-scarred amber that spoke of countless conflicts. Intricate patterns, possibly tattoos or natural formations, covered her arms and shoulders, glowing with an inner fire. Her antennae were thicker, more aggressive, and her mercury eyes held none of Elsa's innocent wonder. They held only judgment and rage. The psychic wave that hit Leo nearly drove him to his knees. "Where is she? Inside!" "She's safe," Leo gasped, struggling against the overwhelming mental pressure. Elsa rushed forward, placing herself between Leo and the warrior. Images flooded the space, explanations, reassurances. The warrior's expression shifted, her antennae lowering slightly. The mental pressure eased. When the warrior spoke again, her psychic voice was controlled but still carried an edge. "You are the human who protected her." "I couldn't just walk away," Leo said, rubbing his temples. "Those hunters would have sold her or worse." The warrior studied him with an intensity that felt like being dissected. Then she did something unexpected. She placed her fist against her chest and bowed her head slightly. I am Kael'thra, Warsinger of the Luminae. You have saved my tribe's daughter. This creates complications. Complications? Humans are not native to this world. We thought your kind extinct after the Great Scattering. Yet you defend one of us against your own species' predators. You live alone in the wildlands. You show courage. Kael'thra's eyes narrowed. These are qualities we respect. Qualities we require. Leo felt another wave of psychic communication, not from Kael'thra, but from Elsa. Images of the Luminae tribe. Their struggles against off-world raiders. Their dwindling numbers. Their need for allies who understood the threat from space. Wait, Leo said slowly. Are you asking me to— The Luminae do not forget debts, Kael'thra interrupted. You saved one of ours. Honor demands acknowledgement, but more than that. She paused, and for the first time, Leo detected something other than warrior's pride in her mental voice. We need someone who understands the Sky Dwellers. Someone who can stand between worlds. Leo looked at Elsa, who projected hope and warmth. He looked at Kael'thra, whose fierce exterior couldn't quite hide a desperate determination. He thought of his 3 years alone, of the empty nights and silent days. You're asking me to join you, to help protect your people? I am asking, Kael'thra said, if you would consider becoming something unprecedented, the first human warsinger of the Luminae. The weight of the offer settled over Leo like a mantle. Behind Kael'thra, through the broken doorway, he could see other Luminae gathering. Warriors, elders, children. All watching, all waiting. He'd been alone for so long. He'd forgotten what it meant to belong. Leo took a deep breath and met Kael'thra's gaze. I'm listening. The warsinger's crystalline face split into what might have been a smile. Then we begin. As the morning sun rose over Kepler 442b, Leo stepped out of his lonely cabin and into a new future. One where humanity's stubborn courage would echo across the stars, proving once again that humans never abandon those in need, even on the furthest edge of known space and